Welcome to Heidi Relationships. Today, we'll read some more stories from Reddit. But before we start, I would really appreciate if you could subscribe to the channel, like the video if you enjoyed it, and maybe leave a comment down below. That would help the channel a lot. Thank you very much in advance.
The first one is titled, "It is almost over. Tomorrow is my mediation day and I'm a little numb and restless. I, 43 meters, have been married to my soon-to-be ex-wife, 41F, for 19 years together 25 years. We met in high school. I found out in October, the day before our 19th anniversary, she had at least an EA, but I also believe she also had a PA, but she would not admit it with the current guy. She said they only kissed. Yeah, right. She told me she loved him. He is married with 2 kids. And then she said I love you, but I am not in love with you. But on the same day she admitted to a PA with a different man 12 years ago. The basic to the story is she pretended to try and work it out and eventually asked for a divorce. It's so much messier than this and I may tell the whole story someday. I just don't have the energy tonight. She moved out in January and my girls, 10 yo and 15 yo, have lived with her at her parents' house and my son, 16 yo, lives with me. I see my girls often and try to talk to them every day. My son has become so much closer to me. I love them all so much and I hate that this has happened to them as well. Maybe I'm looking for encouraging words. Wisdom. I have prayed a lot about this and then again maybe not enough. I know she has at least told her family lies about me, but they also know some of the truth. It's weird to be a part of a family and then all of a sudden you are a stranger. Here is something I wrote to her last night, but I won't send it because I know it would mean nothing to her. The devil's work is almost done. I'm mad, sad that all 3 of our kids are in therapy. I'm mad, sad that you are the other woman. You have destroyed more than our marriage. Our kids are forever changed because of your actions. I worry how this will affect their future relationships. You have destroyed other families and that makes me sick. How and why would you choose to be the other woman? It's disgusting and I know it is wrong. You are one of the most selfish people I know. You didn't just make a one-time mistake. You choose to do this over and over and ever after being confronted you choose evil. That relationship is from the devil. This could hurt your soul. You will never be able to be in a relationship where you are not an adulteress. As far as I know you are still with your affair partner. You both have started a relationship built on a lie. One of you will cheat on the other and if not I'm sure it will be miserable if you have a conscience. I know for a fact that he has already questioned what he has done and tried to go back to his wife. But I say to you that everyone who divorces his wife, except on the ground of sexual immorality, makes her commit adultery, and whoever marries a divorced woman commits adultery. Matthew chapter 5 verse 32. He said to them, because of your hardness of heart Moses allowed you to divorce your wives, but from the beginning it was not so. And I say to you, whoever divorces his wife, except for sexual immorality, and marries another, commits adultery. You lied for so long it is hard to tell what was ever true. Is this who you were along, and I didn't know it, or did you change? I do believe you did me a favor forcing the divorce. You made the statement that maybe you don't deserve me. Maybe that is true but if you didn't force this I would have kept trying to love you and save our marriage. How do you not feel remorse or shame or guilt? How do you sleep at night knowing what evil you have done? You said at one point you were praying and talking to God but if there is no change is there really any sorrow or repentance? I know that is between you and God, but it is one more thing I don't understand. How do you sit in church and not feel guilt or shame? How did you sit with me and our family and not feel shame and guilt? You are not too far gone, you can still be saved. I don't mean we can have a relationship, especially now, but you can repent and return to God. I believe that would mean putting away that selfish person you have become. I have said in the past you are a good mother. I believe I lied to you. A good mother would not have done this to her family. You are a selfish person who just loves herself. Maybe you care about the children but because of how it makes you look to the world. I know how much you care about your image. As for me, I have tried hating you, but it does no good. I really could have come after you, I mean your career, you always cared about that more, but I decided that time will take care of everything. I don't need to hurt you because you are broken. I'm sure there has to be a lot of pain to do the things you have done. In some ways I pity you. I'm saying my last goodbyes and releasing you. A user in the comments said, very well written. Most people forget that cheating scum cheats on the whole family, not just the spouse they betray sexually. Don't be shy about pointing this out to her. I realize you can't bring yourself to hate her, but she's worthy of every bad emotion you can bring yourself to feel. You are right, once an adulterer always an adulterer. She can never be anything else. Once a liar always a liar. Her, once a cheater and faulty, dishonest parent, she's one for life. She will pay for what she did. In many ways she will pay. Get through the process and remember when it's convenient to you, to out her to one and all. Never keep a cheater's secrets, it makes you a liar by omission and it's like you're helping them in their betrayal. Stay strong. The next one is titled, The Divorce is Final, Update. If you didn't read my last post, the basics are my mom fell and broke her left leg and hip Thursday night. She had surgery Friday morning. While she was in surgery, I went before the judge to prove up my mediation to make my divorce final. There is one more piece of paperwork that needs to be turned in. My ex and I were messaging about the house Friday afternoon because we are selling it and I made a snarky comment about being divorced and she acted like she didn't know anything. She fired her attorney that day and left a message with my attorney. Within 5 minutes of the call, her dad was at my house causing trouble and the cops got called. Saturday I took my middle child to her basketball tournament. My ex messaged saying she was coming to pick up a few personal things from the house. She still had clothes here, so that is what I thought she was taking, and it's my fault for thinking instead of asking. While I am at my daughter's basketball game, I get a call. My mother had a stroke, and she was being life-flighted to a bigger hospital that can help. I get home to find the house gutted. She took a lot. Part of the agreement was everything stays till the house until it's sold. She may be mad because she had told her AP that she was getting everything she wanted back in November, which included the house and kids. She didn't get the house and my son is living with me. I see my girls almost every day too. I don't think she read or apparently didn't understand what we agreed to the week before, or maybe like our marriage she doesn't care. I was so worried about my mom I didn't care at the moment what was going on with the house and took off to be with her. My mom has been in the ICU until today. She is doing better but has a long way to go. My ex did call on Monday to ask about my mom. Or maybe she was fishing if I'm going after her dad for assault. She tried to explain that her dad was with her when she found out the divorce was final, and she was upset she didn't get to go before the judge too. She said I would do the same for my girls. She also insisted she didn't know why he left, and it wasn't until it was over that he came to my house. She said she fired her attorney because she wanted changes made to our mediation settlement. It says at least 3 times that this agreement is final. The mediator and my attorney told me the same thing. The message she left for my attorney was she wanted 30 to see what her options are, but she is not in a hurry to do anything because I have so much going on with my mother. I messaged my attorney and told her I don't trust her at all and get that last bit of paperwork finished. She did it yesterday, so we will see. My attorney and my brother, who is also an attorney, said my ex can't do anything. That it's done. I really don't know what the big deal is because she wanted the divorce, and she has an AP. Let's end this and let me go. I made it home last night and was trying to figure out what all got taken. Some things we were supposed to split, and you can guess how that worked out for me because I was not here. One thing is a little puzzling is why took all the Bibles. We had a collection of them. She doesn't obviously care what is written in the Bible, so why take them? I'm sure she has justified her actions, but that doesn't make it right with God. I sometimes want to message and ask, tell her some of these things, but I know I'm wasting my breath. I believe she is with AP this week, and now that we divorced I need to let it go. I sometimes shake when I think about them together. I did it tonight and my middle child saw us and was really worried about me. It's not good. I hope I never meet him because I don't know if I can keep myself from going after him. I know it's her too, but I may have to leave if he comes around at some point. I'm starting IC again soon and I know I need it. Anyway, thanks for the prayers for Mom. I know many of you are going through tough times with your spouse or ex. I wish you all the best and peace. The next one is titled, Wife cheated on me with several men. How can I move forward? I'm a 41M that has been married to my 41F wife for 12 years, but we've been a couple for nearly 20. We have 3 beautiful children, a home we love, and are both in careers that we were born to do and enjoy very much. Our relationship isn't perfect, but never in my life did I think she would cheat on me. The revelation came to light in the late evening of our anniversary day back in April. I received several Facebook messages from an anonymous burner account, source, pictures, screenshots of texts, messages, Snapchats, and a ton of completely hurtful and inappropriate memes. There was so much material, I didn't know what to make of it at first. But, within a few minutes, felt my heart fall into the pit of my stomach as I came to the realization that my wife spent the better part of last summer, fall, winter pursuing, and with some, sleeping with, an assortment of men. Putting aside the source of the information for a bit, still a mystery, I immediately confronted her. Looking back, I should have allowed myself to digest the entire story first. But panic set in, and I couldn't stop myself once I knew of her first AP. She denied at first, but eventually admitted that she had, in fact, slept with this guy on multiple occasions. Painful enough, but then to really dig into the materials I was sent and realize just how deep this rabbit hole could be, I fell into a very dark depression. Which, full disclosure, I haven't completely emerged from at this point, nearly 2 months after D-Day. There were more guys after the first AP basically ghosted her, once he got what he had wanted out of the relationship. I can't prove she slept with any of them but do have proof that at least one of them was invited into my home once while I was visiting family out of town with our kids. She denies it up and down, claiming the original AP is the only one she slept with. Is she remorseful? I think so. There are flags that suggest she's equally sorry she got caught. But, at face value, she made it clear she made a mistake and wants to try to make our marriage work. So, we've been in couples therapy since early May, making very slow progress. Obviously, the trust level one once had for her is non-existent. Obviously, this has changed me and how I see our relationship forever. But I'm giving it a shot. Because I love her. She's had a tough life. Dad was an alcoholic. Mom basically gave her and her sister up early on and they were essentially raised by their grandparents. The extended family are extremely close-knit. A few years ago, she lost her sister to addiction. And in 2019, her dad passed away unexpectedly, not long after the two of them had reconnected. Lots of trauma. And I don't excuse the cheating, but she had been in a very dark place in the lead up to the infidelity. As for me, I noticed she had been drinking a lot more than usual. Had been spending a lot of money on new clothes, etc. A lot of time on self-improvement, Botox, keto, etc. as well. And while I spent the majority of my non-working hours tending to our children, she was usually either out with friends, or too exhausted to contribute to the marriage. Looking back, there were signs. Our sex lives had dried up. I chalked that up to the trauma I mentioned earlier and the kids. She had become increasingly combative with me, over relatively simple things. She even got so wasted at her cousin's wedding in September that I had to take her home, barely an hour into the reception, while she cursed me out and said some horrible things in front of our kids. Our relationship problems stem mostly from the sister I mentioned a bit ago. Once my wife decided to invest the majority of her time into trying to help her sister through addiction, she and I started fighting. I felt like she had abandoned me and the kids, all 5 years and younger at the time, and was getting nowhere with a person that clearly wasn't ready to be helped. There's a lot more to this story, but just to give you an idea of where I think the relationship started to go sour and why. Fast forward to last summer. She meets this guy and, within 3 days, is already offering herself up to him via text. I'd been begging her for sex for months, barely ever getting any. How am I supposed to deal with that going forward, assuming my wife and I can make it through this? Sex is now a trigger for me, and now, I have several. Anytime I try to initiate, and she turns me down, I immediately go into a dark place, very similar to how it felt during D-Day. Sometimes, it feels like she really wants us to work. And others, I'm not so sure. Anytime we're having drinks, I find her to be much more understanding and forthcoming, as opposed to the sober her, that constantly tries to shut down conversation about the affair. Has complained that she's having to answer the same questions over and over. And doesn't readily offer hugs or true empathy often when I need it most. She has assured me she's no longer in contact with the AP, or anyone else for that matter, and I'm inclined to believe her. For now. But what happens if and when she gets the urge to look elsewhere down the road? A user in the comments said, "This is not going to work. You cannot reconcile with someone that won't actually validate what you know for a fact, which is that she cheated on you with multiple men while you were literally begging for sex from her. And even if she did come clean, there is absolutely no way you're ever going to be able to trust her ever again. Because there's no way you can ever trust her again. You need to talk to a lawyer, you need to schedule an STD test, and you need to get her the hell out of your life. And your kids' lives, too, if you can manage it. Because if there's 2 things I know to be almost universally true. If she cheated in the past, she'll cheat in the future. If she cheated in any relationship, that lack of integrity carries not only into future relationships, but everything she does in life." Another user said, "Sorry sir. You are correct. Your wife is only sorry she has gotten caught. She wants the marriage to work because her meal ticket has found out and this will possibly end the marriage. Saying she has stopped contact with the AP, do not believe it until verified. After all, she has lied to you for quite some time. Now, if this is deal breaker for you and it appears it is, do not stay in the marriage for the kids. Miserable parents are easily detected by their children. Your wife is not working towards reconciling by shutting down and not answer your repeated questions. She is not helping to heal. I suggest individual counseling for your wife." The next one is titled, "Update, My Life, Derailed, Thanks to My Wife's Infidelity." Hi everyone. It's been about a week since I decided this would be the place I would open my heart up and share the hell I've been going through since D-Day, in the hopes that somebody out there might identify with my story and have some positive advice for how this old dog should proceed. The past several days has been a wild roller coaster ride of emotions for me. Since I shared my story, I've taken in each and every bit of wisdom and advice this community has offered, and greatly appreciate the support, both within the comments thread, and in my DMs. I'm happy to report the following. I have no STIs, my 3 children are mine, and I've visited with a divorce lawyer to explore my options, should I decide to go that route. Wife, 41, F, and I, 41 per meter, are making very slow progress in MC. Our therapist seems to think I'm taking an abnormal amount of time to accept what has happened and begin the process of forgiveness and moving forward. Wife agrees and has said so on multiple occasions. I've become increasingly suicidal in the past few days, feeling as though nobody understands my pain, nor do they want to. I've also been very angry, especially when it comes to my wife's willingness, via texts, etc., to throw herself at the AP sexually, while making me essentially beg for it. I've told her on multiple occasions that I want her to want me like she wanted him. That I wanted the kind of spontaneous sexual enticement she offered him so effortlessly. In so many words, I'm insanely jealous of what he got with very little, if any, try. She gets defensive when the subject comes up. Explains that I can get these things, in time. But I'm forcing the issue and making it unnatural because I keep wanting to talk about it. I explain that, as her husband and as a man, it's a very hard pill for me to swallow, and is one of a few things that I feel is holding me up in my road to forgiveness. Last night, we had a big fight. I walked away, took a drive, and she started texting me. Eventually, I responded. Then when it started to get heated, she called me. It got worse. We yelled at each other over the phone. I told her I didn't want to live like this anymore, and she gave me a whatever response. Told me I was crazy and needed to calm down. I drove home, ready for another confrontation. Full disclosure, I was completely amped up emotionally, but have never and will never lay a hand on my wife. It was the words. Again, she told me I was crazy, became very cold and calculated in her responses to me, repeating several mantras over and over again, like a robot. When I told her I'd be visiting a lawyer first thing on Monday morning, and wanted to disclose the affair to everyone in our social circle, that, up to this point, haven't been informed, she threatened me with a video she says she has from years ago of me yelling at her in the car, with our kids present. A threat of sorts? Then she claimed I was more worried about my image than anything else. I couldn't believe my ears. Last weekend, I talked her into letting me see her phone. She gave it to me, reluctantly, for about 3 minutes until she realized I was browsing her Google history. Then she got furious and demanded her phone back. She snapped. Before I gave it back, I found a recent Google search of her app's name. Twice, within 2 minutes. She claimed it was probably an autofill mistake, but I'm not stupid. Last Sunday was the 1-year anniversary of her meeting him. This was the start of the suicidal thoughts. I drove off that afternoon and spent a few hours alone, ignoring multiple texts and calls. She figured out where I was eventually, and we had a very long talk. It felt like the wife I married again. She was listening, she was understanding and very empathetic, she was affectionate, and offered to prove to me once and for all that this would never happen again. She even took me out for ice cream. That night was the most enjoyable one I'd had since D-Day. I finally felt like she got me, and would finally do her part to make this situation better and help fix our marriage. But, as you've already read, it all fell apart. I'm sorry this post has been so scatterbrained and frantic. But I'm scared of where my head's at right now and whether or not it's okay to feel what I've been feeling and why. Furthermore, are her words and actions appropriate for what's happening? Finally, I'll mention she backtracks very quickly when it becomes apparent that I'm dead serious about divorce. She's definitely afraid of it. Not sure what, exactly, scares her? Maybe that it could become ugly in terms of discovery process? She still has a lot she's hiding from me, I'm convinced. Keeping it quiet requires us staying together, at least that's what my gut tells me. Thank you for reading. Hopefully my next update will be more focused. Hope you're having a great day. This is the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed the relationship stories. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like the video and write a comment. I really appreciate your support and it helps my channel so much. Thank you.